break out the crystal ball. I've got a special guest with me today, and we're going to talk about the future of marketing. What are the macro trends? What are the biggest trends coming down the pipe right now? You don't want to miss this. Hi, I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe you must remove your revenue roadblocks to accelerate growth, and marketing shouldn't be difficult. I am super excited to have with me today Pat McGovern from Ascedia. Pat, welcome and thanks for being here.
Tim Fitz, it's awesome to be here. I'm really excited about this podcast. Thank you for having me on here.
Man, I love the fact that you call me Tim Fitz. You may make it stick here.
Okay.
So I always enjoy connecting with you, man. Your energy is contagious. So I can't wait to talk about trends, what's happening in marketing.
Yep.
There's always something going on in marketing.
Yep.
Right now, though, I think there's a lot. Before we dig into that, I want to help people get to know you a little bit. Ask you some rapid fire questions if you're ready to jump in.
Fire away, sir.
Okay. When you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
I enjoy running. I'm a big runner, and I also enjoy reading.
Long distance running, or
I would say medium distance. I'm not ultra, but probably averaging in a week between 35 and 50 miles.
Got it. Yeah, that's not bad, man.
It's decent. It's decent. There's a lot of people who do a lot more, but it's decent.
What's your hidden talent?
I believe my hidden talent is the ability to connect people with one another. And I really enjoy that.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Yeah, that's a good one. The best piece of advice I got was from a buddy of mine, Mr. Peter Capper, who I think he got this from someone else as well. And the advice is just focus on the business. And what that means is no matter where you're working, and this is a time when I was at an agency, there's always drama around the office.
Right.
You know what? Focus on the business. Everything else will take care of itself.
What's one thing about you that surprises people?
I would say I'm funny. That surprises people.
Yeah. Yeah, I can vouch for that. You are funny. What does success mean to you?
Success is being content and delivering a good product. So it's not I've never been a money guy. Rather, am I connecting people and feeling good about the work that I'm doing?
Where's your happy place?
Dude, I live in a perpetual happy place. I'm like, I carry it with me 24/7. So it's like anywhere I go, I could find happiness.
Okay. What qualities do you value in the people you spend time with?
Yeah. Dependability and loyalty are probably the two biggest. People who commit when they say they're going to do something, they do it. And they always got your back.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing at Ascedia.
Yeah. So, Tim, what I do is I'm the director of new business development. So what that means is I'm looking for new business for our agency, which means I'm just connecting with a lot of people. Sometimes that turns into work for the agency. A lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it's just me trying to connect people with other people to help them solve a problem. I've been in this game a long time. I understand what we do and what we don't do. What we do is pretty narrow. We do website design and development. We do digital marketing. Not everybody has a need for that. I get it. But you probably have other challenges. You're probably looking at other things. So talk to me. Where can I help you out? That's what I do.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about marketing, man. Let's talk about the trends.
You want to jump into it? Yeah. So Tim, you really set this up nicely. Marketing is changing so rapidly. And as I was preparing for this podcast, I wanted to focus on the things that I saw that I think people could walk away with that are going to impact things in the next 12 to 18, maybe 24 months, right? So these aren't like hey, 50-year trends or anything but these are more kind of actionable items that I am seeing, one from talking to people on my podcast,
Yeah.
two just from being out in the market, three from my readings, right? So that's where this kind of knowledge base is coming from. Okay.
Cool.
Um, and let me focus on this other part of it too. I'm going to be talking about the B2B space, right?
Yeah.
So, the B2C, there's a lot of stuff happening there. I believe actually there's going to be more stuff happening in B2B, and I'll get to that in a minute. But those are going to be, keep that in mind when we're talking here, okay? And for those out there who are
Perfect.
listening to this. So let's start with the B2B space overall. I believe there's a renaissance happening in this sector, and that's being driven by just a generation aging out. So people are just retiring quicker. And so this is opening up opportunities. I'm seeing a lot of young people getting into the B2B space. And I think they're getting into this because it offers them the flexibility to do a lot of cool things in marketing. And they're taking the things that they've learned in the B2C space and bringing it over to the B2B area. So, like, this is going to continue to happen. This area is going to grow. This area is going to be. I believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things that are going to be happening within that sector. So I would say one big trend is that is growing. That is good. Keep an eye out for what's happening there. As a result of this, one of the areas I believe is going to be growing a lot is the fractional CMO position. Tim, you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Marketing CMOs are becoming kind of a unicorn, right? Today's CMO has to know everything from branding basics to your tech stack for marketing to HR, as well as digital marketing. It's becoming super hard to get that person. There's just too much to get there.
Yeah.
Additionally, in small to medium sized organizations, trying to bring in a CMO, like, we're talking 200K plus, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just
Easy.
kind of the lay of the land. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
time out. A lot of organizations do not have this. Plus, they just can't afford to keep somebody like that on board for a long period of time, right?
Yeah.
Fractional CMO is a very valuable piece. And they're able to bring in specialties. So, for example, hey, I just need someone to set the strategy. Once we get that, then we may need to fine tune things every now and then, right? So this area is going to be growing, and I think this is really a great opportunity for, again, small to mid-size organizations in the B2B space to go, look, I could play with the big boys. I just got to be smart about the dollars that I'm using.
Yeah.
Bring in some of that talent, right? Okay, so that's the B2B space overall of what I'm seeing.
Can
I'm
I
gonna
let me Pat, I want to add to that last thing you
Yep,
mentioned about the fractional space, because more and more business owners, whether it's a chief marketing officer or a chief financial officer or an operating officer, more and more business owners are getting tuned into the fact that, hey, I don't always have to hire this higher level executive full time and spend all that money when I don't need to.
yep,
Um, which I think is a fantastic trend, because one of the things that I see all the time on the marketing side of it is, I talk to businesses where the owner is trying to run marketing with, it's one of,
yep,
4, 5, 6 things that
yep,
they're trying to do. And inevitably, because marketing is not their thing, they don't have a ton of time for it. They make common missteps and mistakes
yeah,
that cost them money. And so I think one of the hurdles that business owners have to get over when they're looking at hiring any fractional person or even an advisor, right, is this person is going to help me get to where I want to go faster, but they're also going to help me avoid the mistakes. Because when we make mistakes, especially the higher price mistakes, man, if we could have been paying somebody else to help us avoid those things, it's it's
yep,
a it's a wash, right? It's money
yep,
actually coming back into your pocket.
yep,
And so I think that's something that's really, really important, because we don't know what we don't know. And when we bring in outside people, one of the reasons we're hiring them is so that because they have that experience and they have the ability to say, you know what, that's not something you need to do right now,
Right.
or that money should actually go over here rather than here, and here's why.
Tim, so much there. So let me just pull a couple threads out from what
Yeah,
you
please
said,
do.
right? And that is, the first thing is you use the line, "I'm gonna put dollars back in your pocket."
Yeah.
So, and this goes back to what I said. There is a fundamental change going on in the B2B space where a lot of B2B, the older, looked at marketing as just this is a cost center
Right.
where you should be looking at this as saying, this is a money machine. I'm going to
Yeah.
invest a buck. I'm going to get three back. Right.
Yeah.
And with that mentality going on, that's why you have more people going into this, more younger people going into this space, because that is changing dramatically. And this is just going to feed what the points that you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Because they're going to demand, like, we got to get a strategy. We have to get these things in place. So, yep, 100% on that stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So so you touched a little bit about changes in the B2B space.
Yep.
What's the next trend you're
So,
seeing?
so let's dig in with AI, because that's right.
Cool.
That's you can't talk about trends without talking about AI.
Yeah.
AI, right?
Yeah, it's
And
and talk about evolving quickly. It
right,
is evolving so fast.
right. So the buzz around marketing, especially when you're starting to talk about agencies or is, well, is AI just going to put people out of business? Is AI going to put writers out of business? Is AI going to put graphic designers? And the simple answer is, I believe yes. Some. It's not going to be that wholesale, like, gutting that in Armageddon that maybe some talk about, but it is going to have an impact. But I believe within the B2B space, I could see other things happening quicker and having more dramatic impact than um, somebody who knows how to use AI to write copy, marketing copy.
Mhm.
And what I mean by this is, I think there's going to be a big impact on customer service. Right, we have chatbots right now. So if you go into a site and you want to get some answers, a lot of times, hey, talk to the Pat chat, and
Yeah.
he'll come back with some Pat answers on and that have already been programmed. What's going to be happening, and it's going to be happening quickly, is voice chat, where it sounds like a real human talking to you and delivering real
Yeah.
time kind of advice before you get to a real person. That is going to help out sales. That's going to help out marketing. That's going to be a real dramatic impact on in the B2B space as far as that. So that's going to be happening. There's a mega trend, Tim, that I have been seeing for a while, which is the demand for quicker and quicker turnaround from either consultants or agencies, etc. What
Yeah.
used to take 4 weeks, awesome. What's the 2-day thing look like? Right? What used to take
Yeah.
6 months? Hey, what does a week look like? That's not going to slow down.
Yeah.
AI is the jet fuel that is going to speed that whole thing up. So that's not going to go away. I believe that people who embrace that and use speed as a point of differentiation are going to win more business. So, Tim, I could come to you and say, look, we're going to be able to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to be able to get you something by the end of the week that's going to show you how to, like, wait, right? What? But
Yeah.
the end of the week, I mean, you're going to be able to use that. If you can effectively get your AI game down, you're going to be able to effectively use this to win more business. Where I
Man,
see,
you dropped some serious stuff there. I want to pull a few things out
yep,
because I totally agree with you. I think the customer service side of it is going to be huge because I know, and please, man, if you've had a better experience, I would love to hear it. But up to this point, I have never had a chatbot experience on a website that was any good.
right,
Frankly, it was so bad that it made the experience worse. Like
yes,
you shouldn't have even have had it
yes,
because this thing can't answer a damn question I have. Um, Now I know for a fact that is going to get significantly better with the AI technology that's evolving right now. So I think that is going to be better. I just think that I think a business's implementation of that needs to be well thought out and tested, because if it's not done well, it's worse than actually not doing it at all.
Sure.
So I
Yep.
think people are going to need to make sure that it is providing a solid customer experience, right?
Yep. Yep. I would agree with you, Tim. But let's just kind of look at things from this level too. Is it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah,
And you could implement something in 5 months from now. There's going to be some new technology that makes that even look like worse, right? It's going to be even better.
yeah,
You would just at some point as a B2B president, CMO, whatever title in the C-suite, sometimes you just got to jump in and go,
right.
we're in this thing. And 6 months later, we'll redefine what it is. We'll
Yeah,
evaluate where it is. But kind of pausing and waiting to get it all perfect,
yeah. I
the train's going
totally
to pass
agree.
you by,
Yeah, totally agree.
right?
You gotta. I mean, at some point, you gotta just make the choice to execute and
Go.
iterate and
Yep.
learn from
Yep.
the experience. I
You got
totally
it, man.
agree with you.
Right on.
You know, the other thing that I'm also seeing with AI, I mean, because there is so much stuff going on with AI, and there are so many different tools. I think as a small business owner, one, I think you want to stay on top of it and make sure that you're not missing opportunities, right? To do things more efficiently, better. But at the same time, there's so many tools, like we can't buy all the freaking tools.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be important, at least in the short term, to really focus on those AI tools that can help you do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Rather, I mean, it's hard to be a jack of all trades, but look, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, right, that we're doing with AI is all through ChatGPT at this point. There are so many different AI marketing tools, but if I bought them all, I'd be spending thousands of dollars a month
Right.
on all these tools. So,
Right.
with ChatGPT, and I'm not saying it's the best or it's always going to be the best, but right now, there's so many different things we can use it for, and it's doing a really good job. I'd rather pay for that one tool and let the dust settle to see what else happens.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
I so it's a perfect segue into this point, which is my last point about AI, where I see a huge advantage is businesses developing that are consultancies slash agencies that are AI focused. So
Yeah,
I come to your organization, Tim, and go, tell me your problems. And I have AI solutions for a number of them, not just
yeah,
marketing, but maybe for accounting, maybe for customer service, maybe for HR. All of a sudden, you're coming in and solving a lot of problems by understanding AI and what it'll take to kind of implement these changes quickly and efficiently.
yeah,
I believe that could be like a huge business for a
yeah,
number of organizations, right?
yeah.
And
I
why not start
totally,
that?
totally agree. Um, what else? So we
Let me
talked
want to
a
keep
bit
going.
about
You want to get this?
AI. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's keep banging
So
them out, man. I love this. So we talked a little bit about the B2B space, AI.
yep. Let me talk about micro influencers and brand. I'm a brand guy. I believe brand is super important, but people don't want to hear from brands anymore. When I say that, I'm saying they don't want to have the brand messages come from just the brand, and with certain exceptions. There's certain brands out there that do demand attention, but by and large, and especially in the B2B space, people don't care. They want to hear from other people.
Mhm.
Micro influencers is something, and it's going to continue to be, again, I think, an important channel for marketers in the next 12, 18, 24 months. Right? People are going to be looking to these influencers to help carry that brand message. And it kind of really dovetails into my next point. But um, um, companies are going to be looking to use these guys as a way to help shoulder a lot of the content that's being pushed out. And when I talk about micro influencers, this could range anywhere from several hundred to several thousand. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to
Yeah.
be a good fit for your organization.
Do you, the thing that I find interesting about, so with micro influencers, I'm seeing a ton of people. We used to be talking about influencers. I'm seeing tons of people talk about creators at this point as well. Um, which, honestly, I mean, they're creating content, right? And they're creating
Right.
information that they're putting out there.
Right.
I think with micro influencers and with creators, some of these people have super niche audiences, and it can be a fantastic way to get in front of a very specific audience and be endorsed by somebody that
You got it.
this audience
Amen.
trusts.
Amen, brother Tim.
Like some of the creator email lists that I'm on, well, frankly, a lot of them are driving revenue with uh, paid placement in their email newsletters, but their open rates are very high, their click-through rates are very high. So I think as a small business, it absolutely makes sense to keep your eyes open to potential small influencers, smaller creators that have your audience to really take advantage of that.
Right on. And where the shift is also going to happen, I believe, Tim, is organizations will, when we talk about micro influencers, will also back some of the employees that are doing this as well. There used to be a little bit of kind of taboo, like, hey, how much do you want to cross that line? People are going to be leaning into that more. And I think that's an awesome way to have the whole organization be talking about the brand.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's so fascinating you said. So what you're talking about there is businesses being open to people that are on their team.
Yep. That's
Actually
exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, creating content. So I'll give you a perfect example. And God, I cannot remember her last name. But her name is Jade. She is a creator. It's and I can't even remember the name of it. But she works for Google, and she is a creator. She puts out a weekly email about being rich, not rich in money, but rich in life. And there's all kinds of cool tips in there.
Wow.
The content is very easy to read,
Mhm.
digest, and it's super actionable. But perfect example, she's in marketing and with
Yeah.
Google,
Yeah.
but look, Google's huge. But perfect example, she's creating a huge following. Still works for Google.
Yep.
Who knows how long she'll work for Google? I don't know, but
Yep.
um, I actually interviewed a CEO for a managed service provider a couple months ago that talked about this, where he actually encouraged his salespeople to have side gigs. He wanted his salespeople to have side gigs
Yep.
because he just felt like, one, it was good for them personally, but two, that work brings additional exposure to their brand as well.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and so it's, to
Yep.
me, Pat, it really seems like this is a mindset of abundance rather than
Yes.
scarcity.
Yes.
And I think there are so many opportunities for businesses to take advantage of that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, man. I
Right.
love that.
And here's the problem. Well, what if, Tim? Yeah, I understand that, but what if Pat goes off the rails and says something? Or what if Tim does something wrong? Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, right? We're gonna make a mistake. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Again, it's about speed, it's about forward momentum, it's about progress. And we'll deal with that stuff when it comes up. But we could belabor this and keep talking about it and kind of go around the round and not get anywhere, right? In the
Yeah.
meantime,
And
businesses, we're leaving money on the table, we're missing out on opportunities, and we're falling further behind.
the downside risk to me is so much smaller than the potential upside.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, why worry about all the little potentialities that might happen? Like,
Yep.
let's just know that we've got the ability to deal with it if and when it comes up, and we're just going to go down this path.
Yep. Yep.
But and I also think too, though, that if you choose to go down that path, you can then bring people in to help make sure that your team that's actually going to start doing this has the tools they need to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I are on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
Um,
So
let me go to the next
I
one,
love
Tim.
it.
Video and attention spans. So
Okay.
we know about TikTok. We know about YouTube Shorts. I don't know if you know this, Tim. YouTube Shorts is growing at 130% year over year. TikTok may, in the next 3-ish years, some have predicted that it'll overcome Meta. In the next 5 to 7 years, it may be bigger than Alphabet, right? Which is the parent of Google. That's bananas. The format there is short video by and large.
Yep.
Right? So, again, if you're a marketer, if you're a business to business person in this space looking at, that's the way the current is going. Get in that current, right? That said, there is also opportunity for lengthy portions as well.
Yeah.
Consider Andrew Huberman. Consider Joe Rogan. Consider just even binging on Netflix. That happens quite a bit. Joe Rogan on a regular basis produces 3-hour plus podcast. Same with Huberman, right?
Yeah.
If you have good content, people will consume it. Highlight good content.
Yeah.
Right? You're providing a really strong value there. So there's that dichotomy, right? Most of this is going to be probably short form, but there are opportunities to go longer form if you could tell the right story and the interest is there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of segues in what before I go to the next point, Tim, the idea of video. I think this is a great opportunity and why organizations should lean into micro influencers. Let's be honest. Creating videos, produced videos at scale, it takes time. It takes
Yeah.
effort. Okay, let's try farming that out with people who are already doing that, right? Let's take that off. Let's take that burden off of maybe the organization. But if we work with other influencers, we could get more of that content going more frequently, right? So
Yeah. Well, the other thing too to consider with short form is most short form is not super polished either, right?
true,
So
true.
it doesn't always have to have high production quality. Um, I think the thing, and this is a little different for me, so I'd love to get your take on this, but because man, I produce a lot of short form video. I do not consume a lot of short form video.
Okay.
My kids are 12 and 13. They would rather watch YouTube shorts or TikTok than a television show.
Yeah.
And that is, and I don't think my kids are out of the norm
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Which if as older people, because I don't know, but do you watch short form or is it
Yeah.
not your thing?
Yeah.
You do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, like I look at some of the stuff my kids are watching, I'm like, this is stupid. Like I just I don't get it. But so many, it's addictive, right? Like they're
Right.
just going from one to the next. And to me, that's really fascinating. Because I think there are obviously huge opportunities to take advantage of short form because it's like you said, it's not going away.
Yep.
Demand continues to increase. Um, outside of business, short form is going to change how people are consuming. I mean, what's going to happen with television shows? I don't know, man.
Right. Right. What blows me away, Tim, is thinking about my own life is how much I'm now using TikTok just to explore things. For example, how do I do this in Excel? How do I do this in PowerPoint? How do I make this?
Yeah,
What are the things? It's becoming that kind of like searching tool with
yeah,
the video of how to get this stuff done. That's only going to keep increasing, right? Now
yes,
think about the power in that for a B2B. Here's how you do this. Here's why this is. There's a lot of opportunities that people just have to more fully embrace.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree.
This leads me into the next point, and I don't mean it's maybe sounds contradictory, but let me explain. So, yes, YouTube and TikTok are very, very important. However, if you're in, again, small to medium-sized business, you're doing some things on social, but you're doing them all half-ass. You're not really getting any impact. The area I would focus next 12, 18, 24 months is I would be putting my chips down on LinkedIn. That to me is the best B2B social tool
Yeah.
that you can do right now and invest in. Tim, some crazy stats here. 60% of the users on LinkedIn are between 25 and 34 years of age. That to me seems like prime people
Yeah.
that you want to be attracting, right? There are 202 million people in the US alone, just the US alone, 930 million total, but 202 million in the US alone. So you have this huge base. Here's what just blows me away. There is something like 1 to 3% of the overall base that are producing content more than once a week. So that to me
1 to
speaks,
3%.
yeah, that means that's a huge opportunity to get
Yeah.
on the radar of your clients, customers, et cetera. Right? That's where I'd be again, putting my chips down. I'm going to wrap it up. Tim, I've got a few more here. I'm going to go pretty quick through this. In the B2B space, I know trade shows for many are an important channel. Prior to the pandemic, trade shows were diminishing in value anyway. Maybe this is something people didn't want to talk about, but let's just face the facts. They're expensive. They take people out of the office for long periods of time. You kind of lose that opportunity. You could argue at how effective these things even are. They were diminishing. Pandemic hits. Obviously, that's the nuclear bomb. Nobody's going to trade shows. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're in 2023. Things are coming back a little bit. My feeling is they're never going to come back to where they were post or pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
People are still going to be going to trade shows, but if I went to 4 in 2018, you know what? Maybe I'm going to do 1, maybe 2. People are going to be cherry picking. Organizations are going to be looking more and more carefully about which shows they're going to go to.
Yeah.
As a result, then, how do you get customers? As a result, I believe more organizations are going to be putting more effort into their website. All right. Again, this goes back to what's happening. More and more younger people are coming into the space. They're going to be looking at the website first and foremost. And a lot of these in the B2B space, Tim, as you know, they're not too good.
No.
Right? No one's spending any time giving it any love or attention. This is going to be more of an important channel. And because it's your 24-hour sales team, it's your 24-hour marketing channel, right?
Yeah. It's where the way I always think about websites, it is the hub for everything you do from a marketing and a sales standpoint. Like, even if you're 100% referral business, people aren't just picking up the phone or emailing anymore. They're going to your website first. What do you say? Do they like what they see? Does it instill confidence? From there, they might go check out some of your social pages, right?
Yep.
Everything you do is driving traffic back to your website. It's got to communicate well, and it's got to have a solid experience.
Tim, let me throw something else at you. And let's talk about manufacturing, which is an area I spend a lot of time in, right? Yes, everything you said, 100% agree with. But you know what? Most manufacturers, when I talk to them, one of their biggest hot buttons, people. I can't get enough people. Okay, well, if you're trying to recruit people and they go to your website and they spend a little bit of time with there and they're finding broken links, outdated information, things are misspelled. What kind of tone is that sending for? Why should I join this organization, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to try to get more people in your door, trying to recruit better, spend some time on your freaking website.
Yeah.
Get that up, right?
Yes, I did. So, Pat, I just had Ryan England from Core Matters on the podcast, and he specializes in helping companies hire better people faster.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things he talks about is like marketing, right? You have marketing for people you want to recruit, but you also have your overall marketing, and your overall marketing supports and impacts your ability to recruit and find good people.
Right. I mean, to me, Tim, it's like going into a retail store and some of the lights are out.
Right.
Or the door doesn't really open up right. It's like, well, do you want my business, or do you want, like, it just sets a tone. It's the same thing with a website, right?
Yeah. Oh, they go to the website. They're looking at reviews. Like if they see the owner of the company responding to reviews, getting in a pissing match with somebody that left a bad review,
Yeah.
like
Right.
they're not even going to apply, right?
Right. For sure. So that's what I think is going to the diminishing of trade shows, the importance of websites. Number 7, Tim, the one skill to know, I believe this is overlooked, but the one skill is copywriting. I don't believe enough people in marketing are good copywriters. And I
Mhm.
know we talked a lot about video and the importance of that, but a lot of times video needs a script. A lot of times video has just context underneath it. Copywriting is just a killer asset to have.
Yeah.
Finally, this is something that I've been observing, Tim. Maybe you have seen this as well. More and more organizations I talk to, they're looking for bodies. They're looking for salespeople. They can't find good salespeople. Then I talk to people coming out of college, maybe people with 1 to 5 years of experience. You know what they don't want to go into? Sales. I think there's going to be a huge demand in the next 12, 18, 24, a 5-year stretch.
Yeah.
You want to make some money in the space, get good at selling. And again, I would just give that to anybody. Nothing happens until a sale's made. Man, if you can't sell something, it's just going to make your life a little bit harder. No matter what, ideas, concepts, you're always got to be thinking about, how do I understand the person who I'm talking to at the other end, and how do I convince him or her that I've got the right idea or that we should go down this way? It's a skill that's being lost. I think people have got the idea of it is, hey, it's too much sleazy car man. It's too much selling insurance. It's too much door to door type of thing, as opposed to, how do I help other people? Sometimes that's through my product. A lot of times it's not. So
Yeah.
I think there's going to be organizations opening up that are just focused on delivering more salespeople to B2B firms. Again, we talked about the fractional CMO. I could see like a chief sales officer that kind of comes in as well.
Yeah.
Tim Fitz, that's what I got. Those are my 8 things to be looking out for in the next
I love it,
12.
man. You dropped some serious value there, Pat. Any last minute thoughts you want to leave us with today?
I don't have any last minute thoughts. I left it all on the field, Tim. If anybody wants to reach me and follow up with me, you could do it on LinkedIn, Pat McGovern. I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit, or pmcgovern at ascedia.com.
Cool. Yeah, we'll make sure those go in the show notes. Please connect with Pat. I've had a pleasure connecting with you multiple times now, so I appreciate you doing that. You know what? I'm gonna pull out one thing that you said.
Yeah.
To leave with people, because I think it's super important. When you were touching on AI, you talked about speed of execution, and to me, speed of execution in business is super, super important. The faster we can execute, the faster we can learn and we can iterate. So I'm taking that as your thought. Speed of execution, don't lose sight of it. So super important. Pat, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Those of you that are watching, listening, appreciate you doing so as well. You can always connect with us over at rialtomarketing.com. Happy to chat with you. You can book a free discovery call over there. The other tool that I always talk about is over at revenueroadblockscorecard.com. We help clients remove 9 of the common revenue roadblocks so that they can get where they want to go faster. If you want to know which of the 9 are slowing down your growth, go check out revenueroadblockscorecard.com. So, Pat, thank you.
Colton.
Till next time, take care, guys.